Nancy Gould, South Orange. I'm here tonight to speak out against the proposal set forth by the school board for the deleveling. I'm deeply concerned about this. Residents of South Orange and Maplewood expect and deserve academic excellence for their children. Parents expect that their children will be pushed to learn at the highest level appropriate for them. But these proposals will frustrate high-achieving students and will also frustrate the low-achieving students. I think they will be a failure. And I'm not alone in this opinion. More and more I'm hearing from my clients and from many other real estate agents that their clients are putting their homes on the market because of what is going on in the schools, so specifically mentioning the deleveling. And parenthetically, I had a discussion about this at 6 o'clock tonight just before I came over here. So it's a real issue and it's current. Now, a number of factors make up real estate values, but a primary factor in values in suburban areas is the reputation and ranking of the school district. Our neighboring districts, such as Milburn, have high-ranking districts, and their housing values reflect this. Milburn's average house price last year was just short of $1.1 million. Summit was just over $900,000. And in Glen Ridge, a heavily taxed Essex County district with a highly regarded school district, the average home sales were over $600,000. Soma averaged short of $500,000. If residents leave our community because of this change in the curriculum and the reputation of our district suffers, so too will our property values that are already reeling from the shaky economy. Our students and our community cannot afford these proposals. I urge you all to vote no.
Thank you, Ms. Gold. Ruth Lowenkron, followed by Marion Rubino.
Good evening, Ruth Lowenkron from Maplewood. I would actually like to start with requesting a point of clarification, because it cannot be that I'm sitting here and going to express my upset that there have been some changes in the proposal since it was outlined, and there are others who are coming up and saying there have been absolutely no changes. When I went to a meeting that Mr. Ugliolaro chaired at South Orange Middle School, he discussed 3 changes to the proposal that I was caught unaware of, and I was very disappointed about, and felt that there was a capitulation to some sort of a sense of what should be done for some segment of the town, as opposed to what I think many of you have expressed, the need to do things for all children. So I would ask that there be some clarification of whether there have been changes or not, and to make it very clear that I oppose any backtracking on the speed of leveling. I would also like to say that this is not something that can be discussed as a matter of choice. We are talking about rights, we're talking about laws, and we're talking about a need to educate everybody. We can't have a choice to lesser educate some. And I really think that's an important thing, and I'm glad to hear most of the board members are recognizing that. I would also like to say that on the other hand, since that's a comment of Mr. Eastman's, I will say I do agree with Mr. Eastman's comment that we should consider IB bringing it to the high school. I think, and I would hope that that's a dialogue that we could discuss. And on that note, I would also say that, as I had said before, IB should be brought in more quickly. It should be also not limited to being phased in 1 year at a time, because I, unlike the other speaker before, would like to have my child socially engineered by the excellent IB program.
I will just make one statement on the clarification. When I said there were no changes to the proposal, that was for the high school. The high school proposals were given in January, and they're the same. The middle school proposals that were given in December, the timeline was revised, and maybe I assume that's what Mr. Yu was referring to, so that it's more phased in. Originally, 8th grade next year would have been completely deleveled, and instead that's pushed off a year to follow the 7th grade model. Okay, Marianne Rubino, then Esther Siskin, and Karen Said. Is that Karen? Karen Said.
Hi, my name is Marian Barrero. I'm guessing that's who I'm supposed to be here.
Yes, it says Rubino, but okay.
Oh,
sorry. I just can't read it. Okay.
Okay, I'm not good in public, but I'm here because it's important. I have 4 children that are in and gone through the public school system. 2 out of school, 1 graduated college, 1 is in her 2nd year of college, Dean's List all through. I have a senior and I have a freshman. My freshman is worried. She is very worried. She went to the middle school, went through level 3 and level 4, went through lots of pressure in the classrooms. What I would like to just have you know, as a parent of children who have gone to the school, my kids have been through English classes with level 3 and level 4 with different expectations on them, made known to them in the classroom that they had different expectations. I don't understand how that is supposed to motivate, but I would like you to know that if there's going to be a mix of classes, how are these kids going to differentiate what is expected of them in this class with all of these different grade levels and educational levels, and not feel demotivated because they're not capable, and to be motivated when they are seeing other kids who do not have to meet the same standards for whatever this grade level will be. So I just want to introduce this to you in case you're not aware of it, because it hurt me to see it, and I don't want to see it continue for everyone in high school in every single class to feel this way, because my kids came home and told me that. Why do I have to do this when someone else doesn't? On both sides of the spectrum. My kids have been in level 3 and level 4, and I've seen it on both sides. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Esther Siskin, followed by Karen Said.
Hello, Esther Siskin. I support the proposal, and I was also very surprised to learn about the backtracking on the de-leveling. I do not believe it was well publicized. I heard about it because another parent happened to go to a meeting. In the future, I think that things should be well publicized, and that's probably why a majority of parents here have not heard about it. And then also, as I've stated before, I think you need to take a hard look at the accelerated program, which I believe is a failing program in terms of the drop-off rates within 3 years in that program is roughly half. So if you're going to be looking at it, the gifted and talented segment of the population, I think you really need to take a hard look at that program and limit it. And thank you all. It sounds like this proposal is going to be approved. So on to homework policy.
Okay. Karen Said, followed by Steve Latz and Valerie Bryant.
Good evening. My name is Kadra Said. I support the proposal, and I thank you on the behalf of parents who don't have credential or professionals. Thank you.
Thank you. Steve Latz.
Steve Latz, Maplewood. There's really too much to say to respond to everything, so I guess that means another written piece. But I applaud the board in taking this step. In particular, I appreciate the comments from Mr. Gaudelli and Mr. Giles and from Ms. Crawford, but all of you really. The problem with but with respect to Mr. Gaudelli's comments, if this proposal were only providing opportunity and promise, but not realizing that promise, then it would really be a cruel joke. And the reason I support this proposal, and the reason that the board that I was on didn't go farther than the de-leveling of the 6th grade that we did, is that we weren't convinced that the staff in the 7th grade and the 8th grade were ready. When we did the 6th grade, we knew and were convinced the staff was ready, and they proved us right, and there has been very little controversy, even from the get-go, about that. And I'm convinced with the leadership we have and with all the feedback I'm getting from teachers in the middle school, as well as parents, hundreds of parents in the middle school, about the experience their kids are having, I think there is a lot of challenge and growth there. Now, one of the problems that's characterized the community debate over this subject, and it characterizes some of the board debate, is what is taught in IB, and it's taught in philosophy at Yale too, which is the ad hominem argument. If you assert that A is true, then B follows, and it turns out that in fact A is not true, but that people are so shocked by B that they forget that A is not true. So what are the untruths in some of the premises? That there's a problem with black parents and black culture, that they don't care. Or the implication of a choice program that some parents will choose to put their kids in level 3 and level 2 and say we don't want them to achieve. Or the premise that, and I'll finish my sentence, the premise that the achievement gap is there from the earliest grades
Okay.
and levels are not the cause of it.
Thank
That
you,
is in
Mr.
fact not
Latz.
fully true.